Hey, remember that sound?
Ah, yes. The sound of envy.
What the? These figures suck! If there's one problem with plastic toys, cheaply produced by the millions over 30 years ago, it's that they don't hold up very well, especially if you didn't take care of them. Whenever you find a collection of beaters out in the wild, certain figures suffer the same damage. Like, for some reason, the Death Star droid and C-3PO always have wobbly limbs. Stupid rusting bucket of bolts, you can barely get them to stand up. If you find an Emperor's Royal Guard, there's a 50% chance he'll be nude. So many kids, myself included, couldn't help themselves and used scissors to shear off his red cloak. We just had to see what he looked like under there. Kenner must have foreseen this, because they sculpted minor details into his underwear, including this rope belt. That's what holds his pants up? Is it some kind of a dark side religious thing, or does he figure, what do I need to dress up under my cloak for? It's not like anyone's ever gonna see under there. I bet he feels real embarrassed now. Lando and Leia may look fine to the neophyte, but these figures originally came with capes. Oh, those capes. Good luck finding garage sale figures that still have their capes. They got torn off or sucked up vacuum cleaners years ago. Leia's cape has a nice pattern, but Lando's is so bland, I think he looks better without it. I mean, his cape looks like some cheap replacement your mom would make after you lost the real one. Certain accoutrements always disappear. Luke won't have his lightsaber. Leia doesn't have her Bosch helmet. The Ewoks came with staffs and headdresses, all of which went the way of the guns. I'm astonished Kenner produced so many tiny pieces. Weren't they afraid of choking hazards? I guess 4-year-olds were smarter back then, and knew not to pop rebel blasters like Pez, or jam them up their nose. Eventually, the plastic in all these figures will break down. But right now, the white plastic seems to have a head start. A lot of stormtroopers are turning yellow. Cowards. Then you find damaged figures. I have to admit, some of these one-of-a-kind variations look a little neat. Like this Luke with the paint chipped off his face. Doesn't it look like he's missing an eye? Luke's badass! He needs a Snake Plissken eye patch. I'm not sure what happened to this rebel soldier, who has what appears to be lipstick stains all over his body. Was some kid trying to make him look bloody, or did he spend too long in the toy box with the Mrs. Robinson Barbie?
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
Most alarming, some of the figures have started growing mold. Look at all these weird spots breaking out over Lobot. And Ben. This is supposed to be the plastic breaking down, but I don't know. It looks like a disease. I'd keep these separated from the other figures. Might be contagious. And last, we have the wobbly heads. Or no heads at all. There was nothing more disappointing as a child than looking down at your hand and seeing a decapitated figure. And good luck finding the head. Half the time... Looking at these battle-damaged figures, I sometimes wonder which character survived in the greatest quantity. I figure it comes down to two candidates, Darth Vader and Chewbacca. Both were amongst the first 12 figures to be released in 1978, and as major characters in all three movies, every kid had to have them. And unlike the other major stars like Han, Luke, and Leia, who were released in a multitude of outfits, these were the only versions of Vader and Chewbacca released, for Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi. Yet there is one advantage Chewbacca has over Vader, probably making him the most common remaining figure. Unlike most of the Star Wars figures, Chewbacca's head didn't move. It was part of his torso. So, while many of the Vader heads popped off over the years, Chewbacca is still standing, in one piece. Not bad for a walking carpet, eh?
No reward is worth this.